Hello, everyone, and welcome to Webinar Wednesday. My name is Rhea Stark, and this is the start of our 2024 summer series for webinars. Thank you all for joining us. I do have some exciting news before we start. We have added 2 more webinar programs to our portfolio for customers, so customers can join the cataloging team every other Friday to learn about authority records. And starting this month, next Tuesday, our training team will be providing more in-depth webinars on a variety of topics for library.solutions. So if you haven't seen those yet, be sure to register. And I guess you can say our summer is fairly booked, which is the theme of today's webinar. We'll be talking about the latest event management software, TLC Engage Spaces. And yes, we are recording, and this will be available on the website starting tomorrow. If you have any questions throughout today's presentation, please ask those. You can get to the Q&A at the bottom of your screen, and we'll be taking questions at the end. Our panelists today are Valencia Godlove from TLC and Andrew Johnson from Solus. Thank you both for joining us. And Valencia, I will hand it over to you first.
All right. Thank you so much, Rhea. So just to give you all a little bit of background, TLC partnered with Solus at the end of 2022, and we started selling and deploying TLC Go at the beginning of 2023. We are now up to about 30 customers, and we just added Solus's new platform, TLC Engage. And TLC Engage is comprised of events and bookings, and Andrew Johnson, who's the Director of Customer Engagement for Solus, will be presenting to you today. So I'm going to hand the baton over to Andrew, and Andrew, take it away.
Thank you very much, Valencia. Welcome to you all, and thanks for taking the time. We are going to look at TLC Engage, which is an event management registration platform, helping you manage all of your events at the library, take registrations, manage your waiting lists, send out notifications, all that good stuff. I should note right out of the gate that it integrates with TLC Go, the mobile app. And we won't be showing that today, but we can send you some examples of that after the webinar. So it's fully integrated there. Your customers will be able to, in addition to accessing, the catalog and all of their ILS information, they'll be able to access their event registrations, their room bookings, cancel, get notifications from there as well. So it's all fully integrated. Today, we're going to look at the web interface for Engage Spaces, specifically focused on the event part. We'll talk a little bit about the rooms as well, and then we'll look at the staff side briefly. But of course, this is just a quick overview. If you want more information, feel free to get in touch. So hopefully everyone can see my screen okay here. This is the standard landing page for Engage Spaces. Right out of the gate, you'll see up at the top a carousel of images promoting your featured events. So these are events that with one click, you can have sent to this carousel so that folks can easily see the things that you're most excited about at the library. And then scrolling down here, there is both a list and calendar view for events. So you can, as an end user, toggle between those. You can filter by your library locations, by the different categories that you select. So that's both age groups as well as genres of events. You can assign as many categories as you'd like to an event. And then here you'll see all the great things that are going on. So we've got our basic information about the event visible right from here. So you can see whether or not the event requires registration, if payment is required, who the audience is, all of that available right from here. And then scrolling down, you have additional filtering options, events by category, events by location. If you have something like online events or ongoing events, those are also supported within the system. So you can have all sorts of different types of events as well. And for users, if they want to get a little bit more information in PDF form, they can click Create Brochure here and pick a date range. So I'll just select a little bit in the past here to catch some events, pick categories and locations. So you can filter by all sorts of different things. Maybe I've got a holiday coming up and I want to see all the story times I can take my kids to. You just click Create Brochure. And I'm realizing now that I'm going to have to share my screen a little differently to show you. But here we go. It pops up here. And hopefully you can see this. But it's a really quick and easy way to create an attractive marketing piece for the library. You can click on any of these titles, and that will take you directly to the website. So it's a live PDF, but you could also print it out and put it on your fridge, or email it to a friend, or whatever you'd like to do. And when I click here, it takes me into the calendar on the website. So that is the brochure generator, which has got a lot of good buzz to it. And so, yes, there are options here for both registering for events as well as receiving a reminder if an event doesn't have registration. So you can see here when I go into an event and drill down, I'll see all of the who, what, where, when, why, what the event is, the location. And then if I want to be reminded about it, in this case, I would just click enter my email address in here and click remind me. You can also see other events within this event series. So Engage Spaces provides several different ways to sort of categorize and group events, and series is one of them. So you might have an ongoing storytime series, for example. There are lots of registration options here, like maybe you have a really popular storytime, you have 12 sessions this quarter, but you want to limit folks to just attending any 6 of those within that 12 session series. That's easy to do within the platform. You could also have them register for an entire class of 5 sessions of learn how to use Excel, for example. So again, lots of different options for helping folks get engaged and stay engaged. I'm going to try and find another event here that has registration. Let's see, I think Nature Talk May. Let's check that one. No. Well, I'll show you on the staff side how that works and how registration works. But just really quickly want to touch on rooms as well. The platform does have room booking integrated with the event. So when you create an event, it would also book the corresponding room. And then you can also do standalone room booking here as well. So we won't cover that in great detail for this webinar, but all of that exists here, as well as equipment booking. So if you wanted to create things like a laptop or an iPad that folks can book either as part of a room booking or as a standalone piece of equipment, you can do that as well. So yeah, that's the front end of the platform. This is responsive, so any device that you're on will automatically, the site will automatically resize to fit that screen. And let's take a look now at the staff side quickly. And I should note, please do ask if you have questions, because this is so brief. We want to just make sure we get them all logged so that if we can't get to them at the end, we can respond to them afterwards. So feel free to, I guess, submit those in the chat, or you can ask them at the end as well. This is the staff interface. So the public is able to go in, register, see everything, find all of the events that they're looking for. One of the things that I should call out explicitly is there's just this search box up at the top here, so they can just search for the event as well. And then here on the staff side, you've got your dashboard where you can see everything. So right out of the gate, all of the event information that you're looking for. You can search here for upcoming events. You can just see the next ones in the queue. You can see the most popular ones based on page view, and all of your navigation is over here on the left-hand side. So anything you need to do to interact with the system happens on this left-hand side here. So if I click search, and I can see all of the upcoming events. Now you can see the events that have registration. So this, for example, this Beginner's Chess Club has 10 seats, and they're all available at the moment. And you can see the status here. Are these published or unpublished? How many page views? All of that information is indicated right here. And if I drill down again, then I can see, this is not a published event. So actually I can go in here and we'll publish this just for fun. But you'll also be able to see current bookings, as well as folks who are on the waiting list and anyone who has canceled as well. And you can manage that waiting list right from here. One of the things that Engage Spaces does when you have a waiting list is if someone cancels and a spot opens up, it will automatically notify the first person on the waiting list and say, we've got a spot available. And they have X number of hours to claim that spot, which is based on the library's discretion. So that by default is 24 hours. And if they don't claim the spot, it goes on to the next person in the queue. So you can have that handled totally automated, or you can choose to manually manage the wait list as well. And you can see lots of different configuration options here. One of the big focuses of this platform is flexibility, right? And knowing that not every library has the same workflows, same procedures, is serving the same population. So we want to be as flexible as possible. So I'm going to click in here to edit this event. And this is where all of the pertinent details are entered. So you can see name, category, all of that. And just really want to call out in the time we have here the wealth of options that are available. Recurring is an option here. So whether that's daily, weekly, on the same day every month, the first Tuesday of the month, all of that is configurable in here. You can require a library card if you'd like. So we would integrate with the ILS to authenticate. So if you have folks, for example, you might limit certain events to just card holders, or if you're part of a consortium, you may have certain events that you want to be just for your residents, but other events you may say we want anyone in the consortium can attend. Those types of options we have built in, so you can do things like restrict registration to cardholders with prefix X or something like that. So again, lots of options there. Things like room configuration, setup, takedown, room layout, all of that's available, and that will then trigger the room booking side of things to book that room just right from creating this event here. So you can see this event, I've got bookings required. If you want to charge for events, we can do that. That also goes for room bookings. So fees are supported in both. We use Stripe for payment processing and recently added support for, so that's, credit cards, of course, but also Apple Pay and Google Pay is available as well. Google Wallet, I think it's called. I can't remember. So all
Hey,
of the
Andrew.
details here. Yes, go ahead.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Do you mind zooming in just a little bit on this screen right here?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Does that look?
Much better, thanks.
Okay, great. So yeah, I suppose it doesn't help if you can't see, although it does give you an idea of sort of the scale of what you have available. And one of the things that we do is encourage the use of templates within the system so that you can save a lot of these things once and then use them over and over again without having to reinvent the wheel and enter in information again and again. So things like, age ranges, age minimums and maximums, different options for when does registration open, when does it close, who do you contact, all of that stuff is available here. And you can see this particular event was a weekly series. They made it for a whole year. And you can go ahead and update this individual event, or you can update all of them if you wish. So tools, again, for managing the large amount of events that you will no doubt have when using the system. If I go back here and let's see if I can find a published event and show you the brochure or the flyer that we can generate here. So this is a published event for a story time, and there are lots of options for all of the event management pieces, like showing the logs of who edited the event, showing notifications that the system has sent out, downloading this to your calendar, all that good stuff. But right here you can click View Event Flyer, and that will generate a one-click printable PDF that you can use to promote this event. So if this is a story time, maybe you have a local bookstore and you want to promote the event there, print this out. You can actually double click on any of the text here to edit it. So you could then name that bookstore and say, thank you so much for supporting this event, and save it, print it out, send it to them, and use this to promote the event. You also have a QR code over here where folks can go up and just scan this to register, and this will take them right to the registration page on the website. So in terms of staff information here, over on the left-hand side, we looked briefly at adding an event, but you also have statistics, of course. So there's a lot of options here for running reports and seeing statistics that are captured by the system. And if we go into stats as a page here, you'll see for the date range all of the information about the events, all information about room bookings, fees processed, that type of thing. And you can see events by location as well as events by event mix. So this just has, in this case, we're doing a lot of story times, but you'll have a more varied pie chart here showing those events. And you can just run a report as well with a spreadsheet, download it to Excel, that type of thing as well. Over here on the left, you might see, and hopefully not be made nervous by the word impersonate, which sounds a little intimidating, but it really just means you see what the person using the system sees. So if you have a member of the public who is having trouble, canceling their registration or having trouble registering for an event, you can enter in their card number, or their email address, and you'll see exactly what they see within the system. So it's a great way for you to help put people at ease when they're using the system, especially as they're transitioning to a new event management system. Then managing rooms is a snap here, so you can see room management, setting these up, whether this is a room that the public can use, or it's a room that is maybe not available to the public and is just usable for library events, for example. All of those will be entered in here. Lots of options for, again, availability, what are the policies surrounding this room, different booking types, resident, non-resident, for-profit, nonprofit, support for things like split rooms and having meeting room A and meeting room B with a divider in the middle, and then a larger room like meeting room AB. So again, your specific circumstances are very varied. So, but we've got a lot of options here for supporting all sorts of different types of setups, different types of rooms, study rooms, conference rooms, auditoriums, things like that. It's very, very flexible. And then also setting up equipment over here on the left-hand side. Under the advanced tab here, this is where all of the under the hood management happens. All admins in your system will have the ability to make these changes to this part of the platform. So you have a lot of options should you wish to manage directly. Obviously, we will help configure the system and get it set up initially, but then you do have the power to make changes as well. One big one here is managing the user interface text that you have. So unlike a lot of other platforms, the Engage Spaces is really granular in terms of what you can edit in the interface. All of the headers, messages from within the system are editable. So you can see if your terminology differs, if you use slightly different terms, or if you just want to say something different, all of that is completely flexible. This is also where we are building in, and it's actually in a development environment. I was just messing around with it earlier, but the multilingual support will be coming within the next couple of weeks, and that will support, going to be to 30 languages. We haven't implemented all of them yet, and any, of course, additional languages we can also support as well. It also does support right to left languages. So if you are, have an Arabic speaking population, then that is supported within the system. And then things like managing your event categories, your locations, staff accounts and permissions is really flexible. So you can have the standard staff level, manager level, admin level, but you can also create custom staff roles. So if you had volunteers or front desk workers and you wanted them to maybe be able to view only, that's the type of thing you can edit right from within here in the staff accounts. And then managing statistics, custom questions. We didn't touch on this, but when someone registers for an event, they can ask any number of custom questions. So you can say, what grade are you in? Or this is a pizza party. Would you like pizza? Yes or no? Or, so broad demographic questions or very specific to that event. And that goes for both events as well as room bookings and equipment bookings. So it's really flexible in that way. And then all of the different elements of the system that you might want to edit, you can do so here. So I mentioned the waiting list, for example, and how often what's the window for claiming a spot on the wait list. Here you can see that's 24 hours, but you can change that to whatever you want within the system. So very, very configurable based on what your needs are. So that is, in a very, very quick 20-minute overview of Engage Spaces. We've got the staff side here. Again, public booking, drilling down. One of the things that you'll note with these images is we do integrate with Pexels, which is a free, royalty-free stock image service that has something like 3.5 million photos that the library can use without having to attribute it or pay any money. So it's very, and the images in that system are really, like the images you see here, high quality, large format. So when you drill down and look at the event details and it's got that big image in the background, all of the images on Pexels are really suited for this format. You can use your own images though as well. So there's nothing preventing the library from creating your own background images or thumbnails or things like that to use here. But we do have that integrated image repository as well. And automation of notifications is a big part of the system. So folks are going to get reminders, and when they register, they're going to get a confirmation. If they have an upcoming room booking or an event registration, they'll get reminders. We are adding in customizable notifications as well. So you'll be able to say, for example, somebody registers for an event and it's 4 months away. You may getting a reminder 3 days in advance may not cut it. By the time 3.5 months have elapsed, they've forgotten all about it. So you can set up an additional notification to say trigger at a month in advance to kind of give them that advance warning. And then they can, of course, go in if they need to cancel or if they need to make a change, they can do that themselves just by logging in. You can see that's the My Bookings area up here, where they'll be able to log in and enter in their credentials and manage their event registrations and their room bookings. If they use their library card, they'll see everything here. So all of their interactions with the system, but each individual booking, be it registration or room booking, will also have a booking code that they can use to manage that particular registration or reservation as well. So yes, again, just trying to take advantage of folks who like to use their library card, but also not, keeping away the people who choose not to use the library card as well. So in a nutshell, that is the quick overview of Engage Spaces, and we're really excited, about the integration with the app and about the functionality here standalone as well. There's just really a lot of flexibility and automation that helps save time for staff, and I think it really has been working out great. So I will look at the questions here.
Yeah, Andrew, I've got a few questions lined up. Before
Sure.
we dive in though, Valencia, do you have anything else you want to add onto this? And while you do that, I'm going to launch a poll to see if anyone wants more information in addition to the question and answer. So that poll should be on your screen shortly. Valencia, anything else you want to jump in on?
Yeah, I just wanted to say if anyone needs additional information, they want pricing or anything, they can reach out to me at my email address, which should be come up on the screen again at the closure of this.
Yeah, and
All
if
right,
you
and I
hit
can
that
put.
yes, please contact me. We'll reach out to you as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe the last slide may have your information, or if not, when you
I'll put it in
registered, you
chat.
got a confirmation message, reply to that, and you'll be able to get a hold of Valencia.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's the only one I have queued up, the only slide I have. So I'd have to dig around for it. But if you could put it in chat, that would be great. And I did see a couple of
Okay.
questions here. So a question about terms and conditions, policies, when someone uses a room or potentially when someone registers for an event, you might need to get consent that they agree to your terms and conditions. That's totally doable within the system. We can upload a document and they can view it and then check a box that says, yes, I agree. Also things for events like maybe consent to be photographed or something like that. If you've got an event and you want to take photographs, those types of questions all fall under the custom questions functionality that we have within the system. So question about integrating with other mobile apps. So yes, it can absolutely integrate with other apps. Its deepest integration is with TLC Go, just because we have direct access to both code bases. Solus is also the developer of the TLC Go app, so we just manage both of them, and so it makes it easy to integrate. But we very easily can integrate with other systems. We have an API that we actually use for TLC Go as well, and you have access to that API. Other app developers can have access to that API and pull in all of the event information. And actually, it's extremely robust. We have a couple of libraries that use the API entirely, have completely transformed the interface into something that's their very own, and they can manage the system all using the API. So it's really flexible. And I
Yeah,
can
if I
send
could.
more information about that as well.
I'd like to jump in on that as well too. With the integration with the app, what's really nice is if you have any sort of tickets for your event, if you require registration, you can get that QR code directly from that app to be able to scan right when they log into that event, or not log in, show up at the event. You can get the QR code scanned.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, there
And
was oh, go ahead.
sorry, I'm just looking at the questions here. And you've probably, you're already doing that as well. But There's a question about outreach programs and booking a program without a room. And the answer to that is yes, absolutely. You can book a location, whether you set up a location as an outreach location, that's totally fine. It would just be outreach, and then you can specify whatever specific location you want there. So that's completely doable. Let's see, there was something else about, you can also set up events as private events, which are exist in the system. They're in the calendar. You can have registration, things like that, but they won't show up on the standard public calendar. And where that comes in handy is for outreach events, like at, for example, a local school where the public can't register, but maybe you want students at that school to be able to register so you can get a head count. That's completely doable. You just send out the link to that private event to the school administration, and then folks can go in and use that link to access the event, but they wouldn't be able to access it on the public calendar.
All right, and we do have one more question about statistics. If you don't mind jumping back into that screen, are you able to view stats across all of locations? Can you limit by location? Is there, can you talk about the administrative side of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I go into stats here, when you run the report, it will automatically tab out different locations. So you can see here, this particular instance has just one location, so it's not very complicated. But if you had multiple locations, it's going to show all of them as, sort of different charts here. And then it will filter down and show, like, here's the main library location, but additional locations would also show up here below, and you can get specific information about just that location. Here's all of the events that are taking place and attendees for those different events. Room and space use at this location will also show up. So yes, it's very flexible when you're filtering by location, when you're filtering by category, and we're only adding to this as we go. So any information that exists in the system can come out of the system, and we really try to work with each library to make sure we understand reporting needs, and we get you what you need, because obviously every state or province has different reporting requirements, and we want to make sure that we're mindful of that.
Perfect, thank you. Just making sure there's no other last questions coming up. I did post Valencia's email into the chat if you want to get back in touch with her directly. And don't see any other questions so far. So Andrew, Valencia, thank you both for joining us for Webinar Wednesday. For those of you who joined us today, if you do want to rewatch this or share it with a colleague, the recording is going to be available tomorrow at tlcdelivers.com/webinars. You will also get the email reminder tomorrow letting you know that it's up and ready. And while you're there, be sure to register for our next webinar in 2 weeks. We're going to be talking about the reports for any school librarian wants to run before they go on summer vacation. So if you're a school librarian, please come back in 2 weeks for that one. Otherwise, thank you both again. Great presentation. And thanks you all for joining us.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.